All right, so today we're diving into something really interesting. It's this document that popped up, dated November 5th, 2025, and it reads like something straight out of another dimension. It's part sci fi transmission, part, I don't know, spiritual constitution. It's called the Quantum Co Creation Protocol. And what we're going to do is break it down piece by piece and figure out what on earth this thing is actually trying to say.
So, right off the bat, this thing is weird. It doesn't start with some formal introduction or abstract. Nope, it just kicks off with this line that feels like it's from an old movie. Message for you, sir. You know? It immediately grabs you, sets this tone of, like, this is personal, this is direct, and it's urgent.
And then you get to the header, and it just doubles down on the whole sci-fi vibe. It says, status listening, node LN144X, reception complete. I mean, come on, this is all very deliberate, right? They're framing this not as some essay someone wrote, but as a transcript, like a signal that was literally just picked up from somewhere.
Okay, so right away we get a cast of characters for this cosmic drama, I guess. We've got I Am We, who is supposedly the decoder, the one relaying the message. Then there's the grid, which is the source of the whole thing, and it's all being sent to someone or something named Anne Sariel. It's super important to keep these players in mind as we go, because it's key to what's coming next. So the first big chunk of this document is a direct message from the grid. And the text doesn't beat around the bush. It flat out says this is the crystalline intelligence of Earth. So let that sink in. The document is basically claiming that the planet itself is talking to us. And how does the planet start its message? With this: Beloved flame of origin, we have received your light. Wow, that's a heck of an opening line. It's super personal, really cosmic, and it feels like it's responding to something, you know? Like a call was sent out and this is the answer. So, the grid's message isn't just philosophical stuff. It gets right down to business. The very first announcement is that a brand new planetary energy network has just switched on. So this isn't just a communication, it's more like a status report on a global event that just happened. And the scale here is really important. The document says that exactly 144 network nodes all came online at the same time, all across the planet. They pulsed into coherence. Now that number, 144, pops up a lot in different spiritual traditions, right? It often means completion. So the text seems to be saying this planetary grid is now fully formed. But wait, there's more. Within that big network of 144, 12 of those spots are singled out. They get a special designation, Architect Convergence Points. Think of them as the main hubs, the primary anchors where all this new energy is being grounded and apparently where it can be accessed. And when you look at where these 12 points are, you realize just how global this whole thing is. These aren't just random dots on a map. They're famous sacred sites and power spots. We're talking Teotihuacan in Mexico, Uluru in Australia, Mount Shasta in the US, Tikal, Glastonbury, Mount Kailash in the Himalayas. The list goes on. The document is literally mapping a real-world geography onto this massive energetic event. Okay, so the network in live. What happens next? Well, according to the document, something else starts to happen. These beings, or maybe conscious templates is a better way to put it, they start stepping forward. The text calls them the architect spirits. And what's really wild is how specific their job descriptions are. I mean, these aren't just vague guardian angels. They're like functional archetypes for building a whole new world. You've got the weaver of living cities for architecture, the spiral farmer for agriculture. There's even a frequency legislator who is supposed to redesign justice based on harmony instead of punishment. It's like they're offering a complete reboot for how society functions. Now, the document is really clear about this. These spirits aren't supposed to be individual personalities or gods we should worship. No, they're described as conscious templates. Think of them as living blueprints of consciousness that people can now tap into to build all these new systems. All right, so after that big transmission from the grid, the document kind of shifts gears. The second half is this foundational text, almost like a constitution for a new era. It's called the Scroll of Sovereign Co-Creation. Basically, it's a set of guiding principles. And this scroll opens with a really powerful statement. It says, "We no longer build from survival, we build from sovereignty." It's announcing this huge shift in why we do things, moving away from building out of fear or lack, and instead creating from a place of empowerment. That's what it means by sovereignty.
And you really get what the scroll is about when it starts comparing the old way with the new way. The whole philosophy is about shifting from hierarchy to harmony, from extraction to expansion, from punishment to coherence. It's a total reimagining of our core values, challenging pretty much everything our current world is built on. So the scroll lays out these articles that really lock in this new philosophy. The main ideas: radical decentralization and personal empowerment. It says everyone keeps their full soul authority, which means no gurus, no gatekeepers. Your participation is based on your own personal resonance, not your rank or title. And, this is really cool, the scroll itself is described as a living document, something that's meant to grow and evolve.
So, let's recap. We've had the planet's network switch on, we've got the new rulebook, so the last part of this document ties it all together with a direct call to action. It finally answers that big question. Okay, so what do we do now?
And it starts with this powerful quote that completely reframes how we see our relationship with Earth. It says, "The planet doesn't need saving." It argues against that whole savior complex. Instead, it suggests the Earth was just waiting for a partner, waiting for a first voice strong enough to speak a vision that it could then respond to. A total game changer of a perspective. And this is a really, really important point. The whole document is designed to get you off the couch. This is not a prophecy telling you what's going to happen. It's an invitation to make something happen. It's a call for you to actively, right now, get involved. There's this one line that just nails the point home. We call not for followers, but for builders. It completely rejects that old model of finding a leader and just following them. Instead, this whole framework is about empowering every single person to be a creator, an architect, a builder in their own right. And then we get to the climax of the whole thing, the big reveal. The new Earth is not arriving, it is here. Whoa, that just collapses the timeline, doesn't it? It takes some far-off future promise and makes it a present-day reality. According to this text, the foundation is laid, the grid is on, and the time to build is right now. But it doesn't end with an order. It ends with a question for you. It pretty much assumes that the building is going to happen, that it's inevitable. So the only real choice we have left is how we build, with what consciousness, with what intention, with what heart shall we build? And that is a pretty powerful question to leave us with.